Cropophilia. Shit happens. Hi, Chief. Hello.
You figured me out. You got me red-handed. You got me red-handed.
Hi everybody, how's everybody's morning, afternoon, evening, and night? So I just want to create this video for you guys just to talk about the Twitch streamer who accidentally showed a Viewbotter tab specifically on our live stream apparently. So I'm just like, okay, something about this news is very messed up. So I'm like, okay, let's just look into it. So keep in mind for a little disclaimer so you guys know ahead of time that people that I'm talking about in this video would be based on the perspectives of others, feedback, as well as opinions. So keep in mind that, long story short, please do not harass anybody in this video that I'm talking about specifically. So what I'm trying to say is that do not harass her, do not harass our community and whatsoever. And I would also tell the same thing with my community. Please do not harass her as well. And don't harass anybody else too. If I do find out that people in my community go out of their way to harass anybody, I will penalize them to the extent and making sure they know that I'm not messing around when it comes to harassment. So please do not harass people. Just asking. Please understand and thank you. So anyway, so getting straight to the point. So I wanted to check from both sides, checking the news of it as well as checking her side of the story as well, just to be fair and square, to be out front with you guys. So without further ado, I'm gonna try to play the video right now and see how it goes. And I did watch it off camera, by the way, so you guys know at the time and so forth. So let's play the video.
Cropophilia.
Okay. So I might be pausing and playing the video, by the way. So anyway, so you can clearly see this is the kind of stuff she was using on her live stream, which she accidentally opened up and stuff like that. So you can see like the viewers, the chat bots, all kind of things, which you'll notice from time to time when it comes to these kind of like illegitimate practices, that from time to time that they might have these like custom scripts and as well as like preset scripts as well, which is something that you'll see from time to time whenever you see like people using these kind of methods to artificially boost their numbers, which not a good thing. So let's continue on with the video. Yep.
Shit happens. Hi, Chief. Hello.
And yeah, and you could tell by the look on her face that she done goofed it. She realized she just really messed up big time. Caught red-handed. Figured out. Trying to process the amount of information as possible, thinking to herself, oh dang, I messed up. Because you could tell that her soul left out of her body within a few seconds and then went back in. Let's continue the video, shall we? It was not pretty.
Huh?
Oof.
Okay, I will be right back, guys. I'll be right back. I'll just come back in a sec. You guys still here? Still here? Oh, internet went out. No, I needed to do a little, my OBS was asking me to reset something and I needed to stop streaming. That's so sad. But I'm back.
Okay, so she's claiming that she needs to restart her OBS. So if I were to go to my OBS right now, as I'm recording off this video, by the way, I usually tend to update my stuff very oftenly before the recording, even before my live streams, by the way. I tend to most oftenly go to like the check for updates, for example, specifically, like I usually do from time to time. It's pretty simple stuff. Like it's still stable. Like I said, pretty much up to date right now with the latest firmware and stuff like that. So it seems a little bit sus if you ask me. Just saying. So since I watched this video and then ultimately I went out of my way to make a response, vice versa, Dexerto, of course, retweeting and stuff like that. Of course, I mentioned in the original source material from the original like uploader and stuff like that and so on. So anyway, so I decided to take matters into my own hands and respond to this situation as I watched the video that you saw from before as I was pausing and playing the video. So I basically just said exposed. She just basically self-reported herself with evidence to the catastrophe while live streaming with Viewbotting activated. That is just sad. Some people are willing to take as many shortcuts as possible with these shady tactics. And to me, I've been 100% against this kind of methods for years, as many times as possible, because I'm not a fan of people doing things like this, because they are speed running their way towards to oblivion with their careers, about to like damage their reputation in the worst possible way. And next thing you know, they end up in these YouTube documentaries that people tend to cover over the years. You see this from time to time. It's so sad and bad. It's like, yikes, man. You chose them poorly. Not a wise choice. So eventually, I did ultimately went to her profile page to check one of her tweets and all that to see what she has to say, of course. So there was an actual like extra tweet right after this one on March 19th, which by the way, it was also on Wednesday. So ultimately, the other tweet for March 19th was deleted the last time I seen this, so I thought, okay, something tells me I have to look for it. So I've been browsing around the place, checking other people's videos, and then that's how I found out that the original tweet was the one that I looked for before. And if I were to click the link right now, as you can clearly see, it was like deleted, which I kind of suspect that she may have deleted herself for damage control purposes. So ultimately, I was able to go out of my way to screenshot the missing tweet that's been deleted, and I was able to go out of my way to screenshot it from another video so you guys know ahead of time. So this is the one that was missing. That was on like March 19th, 2025, 6:24 p.m. in the evening time. So I made sure I found it. I took some extra screenshots as well, and etc. So I'm gonna go out of my way to like read this stuff that she deleted and etc. So she's basically just like mentioning about the accusations of viewbotting and stuff like that. So ultimately, she is addressing the post accusing me of viewbotting written by at Whuskey Wolf. It was indeed a major slip, and it's actually funny it happened. But let's talk about it then, and then we just talk about it. About 4 or 5 days ago, my numbers noticeably changed on Kick and on Twitch. At first, I thought, oh wow, I'm growing, but not a lot of new chatters or followers. The day before yesterday, a friend said, I think someone's viewbotting you, and my first reaction was to be really confused, and why would someone spend so much money to viewbot me? It didn't make any sense. I had never even researched how the process was or how much it costed. So here's the thing about it, in this particular sentence specifically. Let me get my face out of the way, even though I'm blocking the way. So right over here is what kind of irks me a little bit. Never even researched how the process or how much it costed. Yeah, this is a really big deal, because when you're becoming a content creator, specifically a podcaster, and especially like a reactor and stuff like that, you have to be very mindful about the profession you're about to walk into. Because if you walk into these things without knowing a thing or two, you're going to be in for a bad time. You're just basically setting yourself up to be pre-self-cooked into a rotisserie chicken and served on a platter. You'll get destroyed. So continuing on to the next screenshots.
Now the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here is what's causing me the most physical discomfort. It's like a visceral reaction of discontent coming from this area. This area is not good either. I hate this, but I'm mainly worried about this.
Yesterday was a quick Google led me to this website called Redacted, which I did have to ultimately have to blur the website's names because I wanted to make sure to discourage people from going to these websites, because it's not worth your time to destroy your reputation and your career over something to artificially boost your numbers, and the list goes on. So continuing on, and it turns out anyone can view about anyone without their consent for like 60 cents, which is pretty much dirt cheap, by the way. Holy Jesus. What the actual flip? Is that easy? I had the thing open as one of the tabs while I was live streaming, and it showed on stream, but I don't and have never viewbotted before. If anything, this just shows how a noob and clueless I am to the whole thing. And yeah, I deleted the bot immediately because I was afraid of, well, this. People thinking I'm a cheat, which unfortunately it seems to me is a pretty clear indication that you pay for the service and the features that came with the actual stuff, which I did actually saw the actual website, and I discourage anyone from using it. Please don't do that. Don't do like how she did it. So yeah, so basically she's saying that she paid for the service using the features, putting it onto her web browser specifically, and decided to multi-stream with that feature on. So basically on Twitch and Kick, I suspect, in my opinion, I'm assuming that she did that she used the thing. So continuing on, now the question is, how is it that easy for people to view by others and incriminate them? That is effed up, or flipped up at least. The streamer should have to at least prove that the account they want to bot belonged to them. So just to be perfectly clear, that you're basically self-reporting yourself in the worst capacity. That's not good. And I gotta tell you, and to be honest with you, no matter how disrespectful I am, that is pretty much a dick move, that you done that to yourself. Not a wise choice. So getting to the next screenshot, at WizKick, I appreciate your take on the subject, because I also think viewbotting is also cheating, and I don't agree this is the way creators should go. Now, what about these streamers that are viewbotting every day, shamelessly? And are you even on your thread and making fun of it at all? And hey, viewbotter, I appreciate the effort, but I can make it without cheating. Do you want to see? So it looks like you don't seem to realize that you're kind of like cheating the system and went out of your way to do something very foolish, which is rather tragic and unfortunate. Yikes factor. So you mean to tell me that you were grinding for a long period of time, for at least about a few years, I assume, because you built your community from the ground up with all that time and all that effort, and then all of a sudden that you did something foolish to pretty much damage your reputation, burning bridges, as well as going out of your way to have limited collaboration as possible, limited options specifically, just to be abundantly clear whatsoever. And in my honest opinion, that is pretty messed up. Yikes factor. So I'm going to go back to my stuff here. I made the response here. And then ultimately, at some points, I notice that going back to the tweets, that originally she was supposed to live stream on March the 20th specifically on her Twitch channel, just for better clarification. And then what happened, I'm going to go to another browser here, that she pretty much got her Twitch channel, you know, scrubbed off, banned and stuff like that. And if I were to refresh the page as many times as possible, to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge, which once I heard the news, by the way, and etc., which I'll get to that tweet very soon. So as I refresh the page as many times as possible, you can clearly see that her Twitch channel is no longer there. And you're wondering, why is it that her Twitch channel got banned? So simple. Basically, she broke the terms of service, for better clarification, which somebody has an update, of course, that Twitch went out of their way to pretty much investigate the matter and pretty much banned her because she broke TOS for using the Viewbot and stuff like that. And that's what pretty much happened. And then ultimately, that's when I came in with an update as well, while referencing this particular tweet, by the way. And then, you know, I said something like this. Also, a little update for everybody. She got her Twitch channel banned for her little treachery, which it is very treacherous if you ask me, which is kind of a way of saying how to self-own yourself in the worst possible way. Speedrun edition, by the way. for her little treachery for using the Viewbot app to artificially boost viewer counts. If you're going to cheat the system, the facts are always going to defeat you in every possible way. Cope and seethe. And to me, I'm just being as critical as possible towards her, because what she did was like not a wise choice and very foolish. So I did ultimately made like a video like off camera and on camera, so I decided to use it as proof, so that way people know that it's legitimate, and etc. And I try to refresh the page as many times as possible, so about like 6 to 7 times, as you can clearly see, whatsoever and so forth. So ultimately, my stuff gained a lot of traction whatsoever. You can clearly see very easily, so I'm just like, okay. And I think to myself, and I wondered, okay, there's a possible chance I might be community noted or something, which I was pretty much anticipating from time to time. I thought, okay, I might be community noted. I could be incorrect at any given time. So ultimately, I could tell by the amount of engagements that people were pretty much in agreeing with me that it's pretty messed up that she did something very foolish. And, you know, and I had to go out of my way to explain to people what viewbotting is and stuff like that. So I responded back saying that, you know, it's pretty much fraudulent. Yes, it is considered fraudulent, which could break TOS on the website. Some live streamers and content creators use these services from suspicious websites to buy viewers, followers, subscribers, and etc. It would most likely screw over the advertisers and sponsors. Once you include the investors, of course, because we all seen what happened with the apocalypse from like YouTube and other places too, which nobody wants. Because if there's like far too many people viewbotting like crazy, because those particular advertisers and as well as the sponsors, as well as the investors, will go to great lengths to go like ballistic on these platforms, even if it resorts to a point of a lawsuit, which nobody wants. It would have been a catastrophe right there. They would have shut down that website if they ever lost that courtroom, the court case. If they ever lost that court case, oof, catastrophe in the making. So anyway, so I responded as much as I can, however I could, to people that don't know about viewbotting, just for better clarifications, just so I can be able to clear some things up and stuff like that, and etc. And then eventually I will get to a video quite soon in a moment, so saying what needs to be said. So eventually I posted that stuff, and then I was asked by somebody else in the notifications what was the botted program that she used, which to me, from my perspective, I pretty much told the person straight up that I don't know the name of it whatsoever. Because if I do know the name of it, I would say, honestly, from my perspective, I had to say I would not encourage anybody to use that botting program and stuff like that, because it's not worth it. Because like I said, like in the beginning of the video and midway, that these kind of things are going to put you at a disadvantage, 100%. You're going to pretty much like get cooked by the majority of most people. Basically, like everybody and their grandparents, locally, nationally, and internationally, know that use the internet, that you're not supposed to do things like that to artificially be able to fake it till you make it. It's not worth the investment. Because if you wanted to go out of your way to be successful, you have to be legitimate, not illegitimate. So I had to answer it like honestly. That's just saying. So anyway, so continuing on. So eventually I did went out of my way to check her video, which I did. The one in question and stuff like that. Because even though you could tell by like the ratio over here, it's very like mixed at best. So I'm going to try to refresh the page again. And keep in mind that I did, as a matter of fact, watch the video. So I'm going to rewatch it again so you guys know ahead of time. And so forth. A little refresher. Because it looks like it's getting like a little bit mixed from a response. So I'm going to try to play the video now.
If you're into streaming, you must have seen this clip. This is me. Probably the first person ever to get caught botting their own stream live. Now, before you hate and call me a cheater, let me explain why this was a major slip, but an epic fail. So there's this website called Stream Charts, and there you can pretty much see any metrics from any streamers for free. You can see for yourself that I had never ever botted any stream of mine. For those 2 years that I've been streaming, always been pretty legit. We've built an amazing community of real people. This has been my full-time job, and it's always been amazing. I also thought botting was a really complex thing, very dodgy, expensive, difficult to do. It really never crossed my mind. However, about a week ago or so, I realized that my numbers looking a bit inflated. Not a lot of new chatters, not a lot of followers. Instead of 60 average viewers, I was getting like 100, 110. Quick research showed me that actually botting wasn't that difficult. It was quite available, and that tempted me, but I managed to get.
So yeah, so referring back to the screenshots there. So the second part of the screenshot specifically, where she says she's tempted to, legitimately. So she says that, yeah, I'm gonna be using this thingamabobber here and there, whatsoever, for 60 cents, and then use the thing as well. So going back to the video, let's continue on.
Caught the first time and only time I do it. Okay, let me explain how it all happened, because it is quite funny actually. I got caught up in this really nice conversation about frogs, and we started watching some YouTube videos because I want to build a frog terrarium. While I was browsing through some of those tabs, I then eventually landed on the page of the bot. But I forgot I was screen sharing.
I forgot.
Yeah, so that part as well, she says she forgot. So this is why I have to be very critical of why she should not have done that in the first place. Because if she had not used that particular stuff for it, which I'm referring to the Viewbots, like software specifically on that tab, I'm pretty sure me and everybody else would not be having this conversation about this situation. But unfortunately, she brought that on herself. So at least I give her where credit is due. At least she admitted that what she did was wrong whatsoever. And even though she says she forgot that, she left the thing on, because it's no excuse. Like, you were caught red-handed, because the clip speaks for itself. Because this is the one that's like pretty much self-explanatory. So I'm going to continue on with the video again. So I just might be pausing back and forth between the two and the list goes on.
Maybe because the frogs were really making me excited. I don't know. Like, when I landed on that page, I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna bot. What? And then I realized, oh fuck, I was doing this live. Shit. But then the next day I went viral on X.
Now I am an internet meme.
Known as cheater, a botter, a bop, whatever. All these mean comments coming on, and I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. Maybe this happened to me so that it wouldn't happen to you if you were thinking about botting your stream. If you can take anything from this conversation, it's not worth it. And it's okay. I take full responsibility for it. I messed up. It's pretty funny that the only time that I've actually tried to do it, I got caught. And probably you think I'm bullshitting. Probably you think I'm lying. And that's okay. I mean, it's fine. I don't need you to believe me. I think it's just better to be honest about it and laugh it off and say, yeah, shit happens. I made a mistake. Unfortunately, I did get banned on Twitch, understandably.
Yes, it is true. She did get banned off of Twitch, by the way. Yes, because like I saw in the previously from before, in that particular video on Twitter, as well as like on the my other browsers too. She's still banned on Twitch to this day, by the time of the recording, by the way. So we're gonna get back to the video. So I might be flip-flopping back and forth and stuff.
I violated the TOS, and it's a shame because I think Twitch is missing out the aspiring best Elden Ring player.
Yep. Of course. Goes insane.
I will not give up on streaming. My community are real viewers and real people. We will be streaming on Kick still, and probably I'll be coming to YouTube. That's it. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Bye.
So pretty much that's our response video right there. All right, more updates and as well as recaps for you guys. So pretty much she made a YouTube video talking about the incident of the viral clip of her getting caught using the Viewbotting software, whether on the website or pretty much installed into her computer to very much artificially boost her numbers to be able to take advantage of the algorithm and discoverability on the Twitch platform specifically. So ultimately, I went in there seeing what she has to say from her point of view, as well as other people's perspective, as well as like the news as well, see how it goes. And I did take the time and opportunity to watch the video, which other people watched it as well. And pretty much the people have spoken, called judgment upon her, and pretty much took swift action to let her know that based on the amount of feedback, where it used to be 50-50 to being ratioed, with the calamity alongside with the insanity, it did not end well. So pretty much I'm going to refresh a few times, see if there's any more updates whatsoever, and so forth. So it looks like it's still remaining the same to what I'm witnessing over here, the feedback. So I guess if more people watch our video, then eventually they'll express their opinions, as well as like saying what needs to be said from their point of view. So ultimately, I watched the video multiple times from beginning, middle, and end just to get everything, every possible detail, what she's saying. So pretty much she said that in her video that she built her community from the ground up, from legitimacy to being illegitimate, unfortunately, which got to this point. And then eventually she allegedly said that somebody else was viewbotting her while she was live streaming, which she could have just easily gone out of her way to use moderation tools and moderation bots to pretty much like filter out like spam, follow bots, all kind of malicious intents that people tend to do when it comes to like doing something very suspicious and all of that. Very easy to deal with. Could have done that like much earlier and whatsoever. And then eventually she said in the video that she's tempted to use the Viewbot. So she basically took advantage of the Viewbotting tool, the software specifically in question, which she basically used the alleged website, which redacted by the way, which I want to make sure people don't do the same thing like she did. It is something foolish. And that's when the viral clip came into play, and she got caught red-handed. And then she admitted that what she did was wrong whatsoever. And she did confirm that her Twitch channel has been pretty much canceled, terminated whatsoever. And then there's instances that she says that she is the best Elden Ring player and stuff like that, which her words, not mine. So I don't have much to say about that, so I'll just like basically just a messenger, that's all. So pretty much I'm going to go to great lengths to say that there were instances she mentioned stuff like that in her video, and I tend to wonder, what about the other half of the information she didn't say in the video? That's what I wonder. How come she didn't say anything about that? So I was wondering, how come she did not mention about the OBS situation? How come she never bothered to address the old VOD that she deleted and replaced it with a new VOD, as well as like deleting one of her tweets from her Twitter, and then going from like building her community throughout the years in the most legitimate manner as possible, which could have like great potential, and turn into a catastrophic mess. So I'm just like, what the heck? That's unfortunate. So I'm gonna go to great lengths to revisit the viral clip again and get to the OBS section, and then I'll work my way up to the other issues as well. So we're gonna play the clip.
Guys, I'll be right back. I'll just come back in a sec. You guys still here? We're here. Oh internet went out. No, I needed to do a little my OBS was asking me to reset something, and I needed to stop streaming. That's so sad. But I'm back.
Well, to me, from my perspective, she basically has full control of OBS right there. So she could be able to like restart the stream at any given time whatsoever, in my opinion, whatsoever, and so forth. And if I were to try to go to great lengths to go to OBS right now, if I wanted to update OBS, I would have opened the program specifically, as you can clearly see on the screen, if each time I open it, whether I run it as administrator or pretty much run it normally without administrator, I'm pretty sure I would have saw like a pop-out window that would have said that, hey, there's an available update for OBS. Would you like to update it now, later, skip this version? And if I were to try to skip this version or try to close the cross button, for example, close button specifically, I can update that OBS at any given time. I could still try to like deal with it after my live streams and after my video recordings, and the list goes on. So I can go to the help tab over here and go to check for updates right over here for like updating the version of it. And as you can clearly see at the upper left corner that my stuff is up to date. Very easy to see. So at least that way for stability purposes and making sure it's up to date. So it works with like the current drivers with video cards and operating system of Windows, and the list goes on. And then there might be those instances that if something were to go wrong, if I were to live stream, for example, I'm pretty sure you could tell by the network status specifically, that would be green, yellow, and red. That'll tell me straight up that if I were to run into some disconnection, for example, during my live stream whatsoever, I'm pretty sure it would have said disconnect right on the bar right there. And then eventually OBS will go out of its way to reconnect me back to my live stream. And that way, once it's completely reconnected, that I could simply just continue on with what I was doing in my live stream. Simple stuff. It'll determine it. And then if there was like instances that if there's like corrupted files, as well as like broken files and any other technical issues that run into the OBS, I'll probably just go to great lengths to go for like the check file integrity, which is very similar to the game file integrity, like how they do that with Steam, for example. Whenever you install these games into your hard drive and SSDs and all that, just to make sure everything's working okay, so that way you can be able to have like less game crashes, more stability, as well as like efficiency and performance. Easy stuff. So at least that way you can be able to like run efficiently based on your hardware and stuff like that. Just for a few examples, because I think she's fully aware what she's doing. She has like full control over OBS. So I started to question her intentions of why she said that on her live stream. It's very questionable. So just to address that, as well as like going to her Twitch channel, which used to be on her Twitch channel, which got scrubbed off, TOS violation. If I were to refresh the page a few times, you clearly still see it's still banned for using the Viewbot and stuff like that. And then if I were to try to go to great lengths to go to her Twitter, which to my discovery, to what I found out, that it's no longer there. Pretty much got Thanos, reduced to atoms, where it ceased to exist. So the accounts on this page is no longer there. So if I were to refresh the page a few more times specifically, that her Twitter profile page is no longer there. It doesn't exist anymore. And then apparently I was able to get one of her old tweets, which is the one that was like missing or deleted, which I had to borrow from other people's video, by the way, just to make certain, to be very certain here, and etc. So these were her deleted tweets right there, even admitting that it's dirt cheap and whatsoever, easy to use, and etc. Which is very problematic whatsoever. Very messed up. And then as well as those instances where I tend to wonder and think to myself, you mean to literally tell me that through those few years, building yourself up to the ground up, where you had like very much had like a good chance of like having good potential, as well as like building your community in a more efficient and effective way, where you're doing something that was pretty much legitimate and got turned illegitimate when you decided to take matters into your own hands and try to do some viewbotting, which even though going back towards the tweet over here that you used to have, where you said that you never researched how the process was or how much it costed specifically, and then comparing it with your video that you made where you said that you actually did research a thing. So I tend to wonder, like, which of the answers are you trying to refer to? Was it the one that you deleted tweets, or was it in this video? That's what I wonder. So what the heck? So I'm not sure what motivated you to go out of your way to tarnish everything that you built from the ground up and then try to like burn bridges, all kinds of things. Like, yikes. That is tragic. That's all I had to say. So I'm going to continue on with the video so you guys know ahead of time. And also I had to mention later in the video that I did wish her the best, but even though in better translation, I'm telling her good luck. You're going to need a lot of it. Also, another update just to let you guys know before we continue even further in the video. Apparently, she used to have a profile page on this particular Twitter, which is no longer usable. So it's been scrubbed out. So ultimately, I forgot to mention that she probably has like an extra copy, I assume, as I found out. Which I found like this one in particular. So if I were to try to like go to the ads Gloria Twitch over here, the one that I viewed from before, and click on this link, this is the one in question that was no longer here. So I'll probably assume that she has like an extra backup copy to what I discovered. So I'm like, okay, at least I found out. So I forgot to add that onto the video too. So we're gonna try to continue on so you guys can see for yourselves. So pretty much that's what happens. Because unfortunately to me, I did have to be a jerk. Because I just try to be honest. Because when I'm honest with people, I tend to be a jerk either way. That's just how the way I am. That's how I was raised. Even my mother was strict with me as well. Even her mother was strict with her, so she's strict with me too. So it's just the way I was built too. So what can you do? I don't make the rules here. So anyway, so apparently it was a day ago, by the way, so you guys know ahead of time. That was like March 20, 2025 specifically. And then having a look at the comments here is, I would have to say the best way to describe it is pretty much like divisive as best and whatsoever. And then she claims that in the video that she was getting Viewbotted. So I'm gonna go to great lengths to very much like go to my channel, for example, specifically, which I did previously was playing like Death Stranding, by the way, director's cut. So you can clearly see in my streamer management, specifically stream management, just to correct myself there, some stream management, I've been streaming the game since like 4 something in the afternoon specifically, and there were times and moments that I had to put up some random spam bots, follow bots, and view bots as well, which I experienced in myself as well, which apparently just invaded my channel for some odd reason. And I had to do whatever I can, however I could, to do a lot of damage control over here and doing whatever is necessary to keep them at bay and kick them out of my community whatsoever, and making sure they don't try to like mess with everybody else's stuff as well. So I ultimately did like a lot of damage control, which I used like night bots, Siri bots, and whatever I got to do for like moderation tools, moderation bots as well. So at least that way to make sure to keep the nonsense at bay. Because you can see this by example why I did this for a good reason, because I'm not a fan of these kind of like dirty methods here, because it's pretty bad in my opinion. So I had to delete one of their links. I had to put up with their like unusual symbols and stuff like that, like spam like this, for example, and even go into great lengths to get me to invite them into my Discord, which I never bothered to, or times and moments to see what kind of BS they're trying to start with me, because most of the time I try to like go to great lengths to dismiss that nonsense as soon as possible whatsoever. So she mentioned in the video that somebody else was viewbotting her stuff. So if I were to try to go to my Twitch channel right over here, which people can very easily see in the hyperlinks and stuff like that, I made sure that I go to the moderator section, and I made sure to appoint Siri bots as well as Nightbot, as well as like stream elements and whatever else I got to use to keep these things from happening. And if you wanted to add these things, you can go to their channel and go to their hyperlink over here, and you can add them to your chat, so that we could be able to blacklist certain words and blacklist like links that could be malicious, that could be like viruses, malware, all kinds of things, and so on. And you can also go to series bots and stuff as well, which is also a moderation bot as well, just to keep you guys informed, to deal with like spam and all kinds of nonsense, including the hate rate as well, because that's the worst. That's like the most disgusting thing people would ever do for hate rating. And this is a good reason why I always make sure to put a disclaimer when it comes to talking about this very divisive topic about this situation that she got herself into. So pretty much you can see this one here, and you can also go to his website if you want more information to protect your channel, as well as like your community members as well, where it talks about like the purpose of it, how to add it to your channel, as well as frequently asked questions, all kinds of things. So the list goes on. So you can protect your stuff and keeping like follow bots at bay. You'll be able to scrub those follow bots out and get rid of those view bots as well very easily. This is why they invented these particular like moderation bots for a good purpose, to prevent these things from happening. That's the entire point. So pretty much I want to just do this by example. And also, in case the people are asking me what viewbotting is about, so if you were to go to the article on Twitch's stuff, how to handle viewership botting and stuff like that, and even like the fake engagements, which basically is kind of like a preventative measures of keeping it at bay and get rid of these things if it's happening to you or anybody else that you know of. So you'll notice that with the fake engagement, which you'll notice from time to time, that you'll see like in DMs as well as like public chats, that you'll notice that people are putting like little to no effort. Like some people, I would say, that are going out of the way to tell people, even myself included, they ask me like follow for follows, lurk for lurk, host for hosts. So the majority of the time throughout the years since I've been on the platform for a very long time, on Twitch and Twitter for about almost 16 years, and especially on YouTube for almost 19 years, what I would usually do more oftenly when I put up with situations like this, I probably just do whatever I can, however I could, to ignore them, tie them out, ban them out of my channel, only as a last resort. If they get on my nerves, like when it comes to the third strike, that's when I ban them. 3 strikes, they're out. Simple as that. Whether it's a bot or a person, who knows what. And you know, they'll probably like go to great lengths to try to block me as well, which frankly to me, I do not give a flying flipping tin about it. Let them cope and seethe, because I had a good reason to do what was necessary to put them in their place. Because if you mess with me, as well as like people in my community for spamming these kind of fake engagements like this, you're gonna F around and find out. And you're gonna know exactly why I get mad whenever people irritate me too many times. And they'll know exactly why I'm like that. So anyway, so when you see like stuff like this, just ignore them, tie them out, or ban them off your channel and stuff like that. They're just wasting their own time over nothing. Fake engagement right there. And then when it comes to the point of viewbotting specifically, which I explained at the beginning of the video, as well as like the middle of the video as well, that's especially what she showed on the tab and stuff like that. So you're basically going out of your way to artificially increase the live viewer count, specifically having like illegitimate scripts, like, you know, the ones that are like custom scripts, and as well as the preset scripts, which basically they're trying to like take the behaviors from real users, specifically how they usually act towards chat, whether they're like friendly or hostile, depending on the nature of their intentions and whatsoever. So they copy those kind of behaviors from the real users on the platform and whatsoever, and they try to take that particular like statements as well as behavioral like patterns, and they try to apply it onto the view bots as well. That's how they tend to do that. So that's how you'll notice that from time to time with these kind of view bots, they do tend to go out of the way to very much try to mimic like human behavior, specifically like you normally see like in the internet, even in real life as well, of course, all kinds of craziness and etc. So that's how you'll notice from time to time they're willing to try to go out of the way to very much like, you know, mimic try to go out of the way to mimic human behavior in any shape or form, especially when they pose as like advertisers, telemarketers, all kinds of things. Even try to go to great lengths to very much try to like sell you things that you don't even need, don't even want. So this is the sole reason why I always make sure to tell most people, please do not do shady methods like this. I promise you, and I guarantee you, it will not end well. It's gonna be speedrunning your way to oblivion, for sure. And then heading towards the follow bots, fake accounts specifically, Not worth it. So most of the time, if you're dealing with these kind of follow bots, I would highly recommend, just like from before, so I'm going to go back to the page with like SiriBot and Nightbot. You probably want to make sure to get them added to your chats as moderators, like how I did it as well. Like you can see right over here in community, right there in the upper right corner, just below my icon name and stuff like that, or icon picture and stuff like that. So all you have to do is just try to like add them onto your moderation team as well as SiriBot. So you probably want to make sure to go to their websites to add them on there and authorize your access to the Twitch channel and stuff like that. And then eventually you also go to grant links to pretty much use like to his own chat and stuff like that and so on. So you can easily go to like SiriBot stuff like that. So you just put in like basic commands and stuff like that. So that way you'll be able to add it to your channel. So that way it can give you like better protection against spam, as well as like the follow bots and including like the view bots and stuff like that. So it's easy to do and whatsoever. So that's the entire premise of the purpose of it, just to keep you guys informed. So I'm going to go back to the page here on the article here. So that's why the moderation bots are made for a good reason, for those particular tools to make some preventative actions using like tools and the moderation to prevent these kind of nonsense from happening too many times, which you can be able to like manually handle it properly and whatsoever. And yes, botting is pretty bad too, so I kind of explained from before. Really bad stuff, not worth it. And there are times and moments that you can report these things, and making sure to do the best you can, however you could, to keep them at bay as best you can, however you could, whatsoever. And especially when someone's being botted, like, yeah, you always want to make sure to like have like protection, making sure to use the moderation tools and moderation bots to deal with that nonsense and ban them off your channel, time them out, whatever you got to do, and so forth. So better clarification. So overall, I do have to say, at least the good thing is that at least with Gloria, she acknowledged that yes, what she did was wrong. And I do have to give her credit where credit is due. At least she's able to hold accountability on herself, and hopefully she does the best she can to never do this again. And if she's watching this, I hope that she understands from this experience, especially when she was on the news. I'm just hoping that she does the best she can, however she could, to the best of her ability, to the best of her knowledge, wishing her the best. And pretty much just don't bother doing any shady tactics like this ever again. Like, for real, it's not worth it, because there are times and moments you damage yourself a little bit in the process while bragging about this and that whatsoever. Because when you're kind of like dealing with these kind of places without the amount of research whatsoever, you have to understand and realize that there's like a very steep price when it comes to going out of your way to artificially boost your numbers in the worst capacity. That's the worst thing you could ever do, because keep in mind that people will never let this issue go for the longest period of time. And believe me, this is the internet. They are relentless. They are like hyenas. You do not want to mess with those hyenas, because they'll bite you a new one. It is not pretty. So anyway, and now to my experience, because I know for a very long time, because I've been on the internet for a long time, since I was in like high school, as well as college and other factors as well. I even get myself into arguments here and there, etc., with people whatsoever, and even made mistakes here and there with my videos and live streams as well. So I took the time and opportunity to take the feedback from the criticism that I receive, and take the time and effort to at least to go back to the drawing board and see what I can do to come up with some efficiency, as well as like coming up with some plans that actually make the most sense. And also going on my way to, you know, reference other people's work, as well as going on my way to, like, you know, understand the source material, all kinds of factors and so on. So I'm going to go out of my way to, for example, to go to my channel here. So I'm going to go to my channel, for example, over here, because I have one that's very divisive. from a few years ago. So I'm gonna go for example with the Sabrent PS5 heatsink, for example, which I did have to ultimately make two videos out of it, because due to the fact that I made a mistake with like messing with the spacer without the spacer whatsoever, and so on. So I'm gonna go right over here to that particular moment. If I can get there really quick. And get to that the part right over there. Let's mute it for a second. I'll skim through it a little bit more. Hold on. So these are those times and moments where I kind of done goofed it right there. That's where I screwed up. I got a whole lot of criticism out of that for a good reason, and believe it or not, it was not pretty. I know too well. Because I forgot to put like the spacer on there. That's the biggest mistake right there. As you can clearly see, I forgot to put the spacer in there and stand off. That was like a very divisive video. So ultimately heading towards part 2, which I did ultimately got like criticism out of it for a good reason, and the list goes on. So I ultimately took that criticism that I received from back then and try to put that in part 2, which may not be perfect, to be fair. So I ultimately went back to the drawing board to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge. I went back and tried to fix the problem. And I made sure this time in the second part, I made sure to put the spacer in there. And to this day, it's still divisive. You can tell by the ratio right over here. People can see very easily what happened since then. Very easily. Went back to the drawing board whatsoever. And I did have to end up like using power tools to deal with this mess once and for all. So I'm like, yeah, I need to fix this problem. I had to go like a little bit extreme. And I did ultimately have to get myself a new like screw eventually, because that one's pretty messed up. So ultimately, I took notes from these kind of mistakes. And then eventually, and that's when I pretty much went for the Gear PS5 heatsink. So whatever previous mistakes I made with part 1 and part 2 of Sabrent PS5 heatsink, I was able to do better on the Gear. That's how I was able to get myself like redeemed. And that's how I did it, for better clarification, because I only did this for example specifically. So this is what happens whenever you make mistakes as a content creator, as well as live streamer and podcaster and stuff like that. So the list goes on. So for better clarification. So once again, thank you all so much. I hope everybody has a very great morning, afternoon, evening, and night, as well as staying safe. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.